Sonix TV1, where you are number one and our guests are stars among stars. I am Sonic, your host, and we have an exciting show lined up for you today. Last week, we had the pleasure of having the one and only legend, music producer, music director, Andre Gill to the show. If you missed episode 20, be sure to check it out. But first, later in the show, we will be welcoming platinum music producer Mauryce Motrakx Owens to the show. We'll be sharing his updates, exciting updates, plus we have some breaking news just for you. That's right here on Sonix TV1, your new home for entertainment. Today, I invite you to join me on a journey through the heart of music, entertainment, and technology. Let's dive into the stories that shape our world. Thank you for being here. Let's make some magic today. Let's make some magic today, and let's make some magic together. The quote of the day: you don't lose if you get knocked down, you lose if you stay down. Again, you don't lose if you get knocked down, you lose if you stay down. Author, Muhammad Ali. Just don't stop believing, folks. It's NAMM time. That's right. Once again, it's NAMM time. The NAMM show in Anaheim, California kicks off this week, and we'll be discussing what's next in technology, equipment, and how it plays a part in music creation and production. In 2024, I released my music video, Savage. And it's a commercial for 6 videos that I created with my cousin Brian Schiffman, Washington. Also, we created Broadway, which was directed by Brian as well. So we're going to share those 2 videos with you right now. So keep it locked and keep it tuned right here on Sonix TV1, your new home for entertainment.
This is a world premiere. This is a world premiere.
Hey yo, Sonic, what do you want to be when you grow up?
That's easy. A music producer, songwriter, arranger, composer, recording artist, TV host. Nah, I take that back. A savage. 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 I'm just a savage. 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 Birds flying high. You know how I feel. Sun in the sky. That was Savage and Broadway. Produced, written, and arranged by yours truly. Music directed by our past guest, Brian Synthman Washington. And if you had to have the chance to check out that episode, please be sure to check it out. Coming up next, after this intro video, we will have our special guest, Mauryce, Motrakx, Owens. He will be with us, that's right. So if you have any questions, please get your questions ready, and we'll be filling questions in the chat room. So thank you so much for joining us today. We greatly appreciate you spending your time with us. Coming up after this video, the one and only Motrakx.
Mauryce Motrakx Owens is a platinum producer and recording engineer hailing from Baltimore, Maryland, with a reputation for crafting groundbreaking sounds that push the boundaries of modern music. Known for his impeccable ear and innovative approach to production, Motrakx has collaborated with top-tier artists across genres, delivering chart-topping hits and timeless tracks. With deep roots in Baltimore's vibrant music scene, Motrakx has honed his craft to become a sought-after name in the music industry, blending raw talent with technical precision. Whether behind the mixing board or in the studio, his dedication to excellence has earned him accolades and a loyal following. Driven by passion and creativity, Motrakx continues to inspire the generation of artists and producers through his work, leaving an indelible mark on the music world. Sonix TV1, join me in welcoming legendary music producer Mauryce Motrakx Owens.
Sonix TV1. We are blessed today to have the one, the only Motrakx with us today. How you feeling, my brother?
Man, wonderful, wonderful. Another great day to be great, brother. You know what it is.
He just said it, another day to be great. It's nothing like being alive and being able to do what you love. This man right here is one of a kind. He loves what he does, and you can always see and hear the passion in his music. So we're blessed. We're going to dive right into it. We got so much to share with the folks today.
Yeah.
Feel me? We got a lot to share.
Yeah.
A lot to share. For sure. So tell me, everyone that watches this show, they know that we always start at the beginning of the book. So we're going to start at the beginning of the book that is Motrakx. Where'd you grow up, and what was home life like for you?
Well, basically, born in Baltimore, Maryland. You know what I'm saying? I lived there like half my life, and in New York City, so we transitioned to New York, but I would always go back to Baltimore every summer, every holiday. And it was a great experience. My mom, she worked for the military, so she was up in New York, Fort Hamilton Army Base, where I spent a lot of time, like a lot of time on Fort Hamilton Army Base. And we would just go back and forth. And my mom was a hardworking single mother, so it was inspiring to see her, work so hard. And I think that's part of where I get my work ethic from. And my grandparents, my granddaddy was Baltimore police. My grandmother was a Baltimore school teacher, both of them over 30 plus years in those respective fields. And they showed me how to really ground yourself in morality, and learn right from wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because Baltimore, New York, it ain't the safest, most kindest places in the world, especially in the 80s, you know what I'm saying, and the 90s. So it was like I had that side. And then my mom gave me the leniency to be a little bit more grown because she had to work so much. But she also instilled in me, like, boy, you know what your rights and wrongs from. So it was a lot of life lessons learned from those three, the hard work, the value of earning your money, earning your dollar, being honest. You're not out there cheating and robbing. You're actually earning your bread. So it was a great upbringing. Maybe not in the traditional value. Mom, dad, picket fence, suburbs, but it was great to scope my personality and who I am today, most definitely.
So did you start when did you get into music? Did you start playing an instrument, or what was it that, inspired you to get into music as a child? What was the very first thing you can remember?
Man, the very first thing, my mother was the first DJ I ever met. Like, my mom would play records every Friday, Ricestown Plaza. We go to the record shop,
Big ups
and
to
we got
Mom Dukes.
everything. Big ups, big ups, Big Terry, Mama T, what everybody call it. You know what I'm saying? But it would be everything from Zeppelin to Marvin Gaye to Black Sabbath to you name it. It was there in that catalog. It wasn't just all R&B, all jazz. It was just a plethora of music. And I used to know records. Like, when I was little, I would sing the words, and my mom would be like, "How do you know this song? You never heard this song before." She's like, "Boy, you got an old soul." And I would just sing the lyrics would literally come to my head before they came on the record. And I just started learning the melodies and things like that. And my grandmother was like, okay, so she bought me a little keyboard when I was like 8 years old, little Casio. Remember the ones you could play the little cheesy little samba beats and all that? And I thought I
Absolutely.
was doing, you know what I'm saying? I thought I was doing something, like started recording those little tapes and stuff like that around the house. And it was like, yo, this is dope, and I always just had that passion for music. Music was always our soundtrack, whether we was happy, sad, the cookouts, the barbecues. It's always that soundtrack that played, and it made me feel a certain way. And sometimes, as being an only child, I'd be lonely, so I would listen to music to express myself and to do different things. So that's really where it started. We started with mom and really putting that groove in me from a young age.
So did you play in school, learn anything in school, or did you play in church, or just at home
I
pretty
was
much at this
actually a
time?
sports star. At that time I was more into sports. So I was sports bound. That's all I did, basketball, football, baseball, and I ended up excelling at basketball, especially New York. I went to high school in New York. So basketball, Rucker, Junior Rucker, Madison Square, all this stuff, Boys and Girls Club, you know what I'm saying? The parks, Wingate Park and all these places. So music kind of music just stayed a backdrop at that point in my life, coming into my teens and things like that.
So when
So
did you
that's where
go?
that was.
When did you decide to go back to music? What age would you say
Well,
you went back to music?
it never left, but I started DJ when I was like 13 in New York. So me and my partner Ruben, we used to put a set together and play parties. And then I got my own set and we started rocking. And I'm like, yo, this is real dope. And we was in my house one day. I was practicing my set, and I was like, the sampler I had Gemini mixer, had like a 3-second sampler, right? So we had took Duck Down. It was Duck Down Records. I forgot the name of the song, but I looped it, and me and my two homies, we started rhyming, and we like, oh, we like this. So I had the little double tape deck, so we started recording records, And I was like, man, I really like this, making the beats and recording the raps and all that. That's back when you put the tape in, record the instrumental and the main verse all the way through. All three of us would go, put that on the play side, put another tape on the record side, and play the tape and record the ad libs. It was a long process, but I ended up meeting this guy named Musa through my partner Kazo Dallas and Jason Black. They were Data Corp at the time, and I think he was with Jive Records, and he did some records with Ghostface, and he lived in Evansville Projects in Brooklyn. That's when I first saw my first MPC, and I'm like, "Yo, what is this?" And he had it in the crib, and he had the records, and he's like, "Man, it's the drum machine or whatever." So I'm messing with it, and I'm like, "How you work it?" He's like, "Figure it out," and just threw me the manual. You know, wasn't no internet, wasn't no Google, wasn't no YouTube. So I'm like, "Word." And he's like, "Take your time," and you had to go through, get all your drum breaks. You know, it didn't come with sounds. We couldn't download. There was no hard drives. And him and his wife showed me so much love. I'd be up there all night just messing with this machine, and that was it, man. Started making beats in the hood in Crown Heights, 601 Crown Street. Shout out.
Shout out to Brooklyn. Shout out to New York
Yeah,
City.
shout out to
Got to give
Brooklyn,
love
you
to the
know what I'm
hometown.
Yo, you already know it's crazy, but started doing like tapes and records and things like that. And it just became a passion. I bought my own studio setup. You know what I'm saying? When I was young, and be up in my room in my mom's apartment, going crazy all night. You know, teaching myself, going to the library, learning MIDI, and you know, like I said, it was no internet, so it just became a driving force. And then school became less important. Sports is still very important, but I ended up getting injured, so I couldn't play as much. And then you know, music just became that lifelong goal at that point.
You know, this it's a testament to your will. You know, you just decided this is something that I'm passionate about, and you just took it upon yourself to make it into something. You know, that studying,
Yeah.
you know, being up all night long with the gear, reading the manuals, actually reading the manuals. How many people in
Yeah.
the world actually even read the manuals?
Right.
I know that I don't.
Right. Nowadays, like, all right, cool. You know, we just get on. You know what I mean? But it was that type of thing, man. And you know, I dropped out of high school. I never made it past the 10th grade. So, you know, I took my GED and stuff, and like I never really went to school. I never really liked school, even though it was too easy for me. But I never really liked it. It was like, oh man, this stuff is over and over. It's repetitive, you know. And music drugged me in even more because I'm learning something every day. You know, something is new every day. This artist is different from this artist. This is different from that. So it kept me more intrigued than learning about Christopher Columbus for the 150th time. You know what I mean? So it took that route, and I was like, you know, go ahead, get this GED, and I got that, and I ended up going to school, you know, for recording technology, in 1999, somewhere around.
What school did you go
Music Tech
to?
College of Recording Arts. Music Tech College of Recording Arts. It was called back then. It ended as McNally Smith College of Music, but that's where things really like were all in for me, because for one, the school, you couldn't just get in. You had to take a placement test. You had to know Ohm's law. You had to know signal flow. You had to know basic EQ, compression, gating, and gain staging right off the muscle. You couldn't just pop in and be like, let me learn it. And I ended up being one out of like 1,000 applicants. They only selected 40, and I was one of them. And I scored one of the highest entry tests they had ever seen. So they rushed me out there because I was actually late with it because it was a tough decision. But yeah, Debbie Sandridge, she got me through. She worked with Whitney Houston and a few others. And I ended up in Minnesota, out of all places, from New York to the tundra. You know what I'm saying? So it was like
The cold to the cold.
man, the culture shock was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But you know, the school, they didn't play games. Like, you weren't allowed to miss a day, you got kicked out. You weren't allowed to fail a test, you got kicked out. You know, and you think about it, I didn't have a car, so I'm walking 4 or 5 blocks off the bus in -20, -30 degrees. So you had to, that's when the dedication is completely locked in, and that military background really pushed me. You know, there's no surrender, there's no retreat. So that was a wonderful thing going to school out there.
What was the first time when you know that moment you first stepped in the studio? What was that like for you?
like a
When I stepped
multi.
in the big boy, like yeah, it was like I had been in a few as a younger age. My sister Debbie Webster always kept me around a lot of groups and things, and I seen it, but it wasn't involving me. If you get what I'm saying. So the first time I got involved, Carlos Boyce Jr., which is still my mentor to this day, he plays a big role in my music journey. But we had Studio 3. It had like a 32 mixing board. I thought that was like the grandest thing. It's the first thing they show you. I'm like, wow, it's a long way from my 4-track. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, no, man. He's like, no, man. This is small potato. He takes me over to Studio 1, Stony Oxford console. You know, the Westlake audio's in the wall. The door closed. Your equilibrium gets thrown off because the door is like, 2 feet thick, and the air gets like compressed, and it's like, whoa, what is this? He's like, welcome to your life, and it was just amazing. It was like heaven on earth. It's like I knew that was it for me.
That was that
Win, lose, or
moment.
draw, that was it.
It just said,
Oh, yeah, it's like the heavens opened up, the angels sang, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And it's like this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. I don't care what happens. I don't care what it is. I'm gonna be in this room forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was that moment, and I tested out of all the rooms my first semester, so I could use any studio in the school. And man, it was just heaven, bouncing from room to room, different gear, trying different things, man. It's like your place. It's like Michael Jordan basketball. He knew his place. Like he was gonna die playing basketball. And that's the same passion I felt in that studio. I'm gonna be here.
That's
Forever.
amazing. That's amazing. You knew that at that moment. You know what I mean? A lot of times people don't have that moment that defines and shapes the rest of their life. They don't know. They don't have that aha moment, and they don't embrace it. You embraced it. You embraced
Right.
the gifts and talents and
Right.
abilities. And even though you may not have had the ability to just snap and learn it, you studied. You took the time to study and develop your craft.
Right.
And most people, unfortunately, some people don't take it to that level of being that passion and being serious about it. Well, they will actually go and study. I feel like a lot of that is lost in today's, creativity. A lot of times, guys just figure
Right.
I can watch a YouTube and I don't need to learn anything about this, but there's a lot to learn. There's EQs, there's
Right.
compressions, different types of compression, different types of
Right.
EQs, different types of consoles. What does those consoles sound like versus this console versus another, mixing consoles? So the fact that you went to
Right.
school and learned signal flow, how to patch things up, a lot of things that with technology, they're done with push of a button. You get you some software and an interface and you off to the races, which is great. I love that ability. But there's some technical aspects that's really missing, and you can hear it in the definition in a lot of the music that we listen to today. So the fact that you you have I feel like coming from that era, you have an advantage,
Right.
that a lot of cats
Right.
don't have. You know what I
Definitely.
mean? So, but man,
Definitely.
it's a testament to who you are, man. You worked and developed those skills, and you made it into something. What was the first artist you worked with? What was the first artist?
But the first artists were way back in Brooklyn, like just my guys. Those were the very first. We were the lab rats of it all. Uh, then when I got to Minnesota, it was so many guys. There was a guy that was signed to No Limit. I don't even remember all the names, to be honest with you. But I just remember he had diamonds in his Cartier frames back then. And he drove the flyest Tahoe I ever thought I'd see. What was his name? And I ended up doing his single. But that was the first like kind of major play I had, and it was crazy because at first I was kind of nervous, like, oh man, like, am I good enough type deal? Because it's like the entourage and it's those type of things. But it came natural, man, and that was his name was Da. That was it. I remember he was from Michigan and he was with P&M for a while, working out a deal with No Limit, and yeah, it was awesome, man. Like it was a feeling like. And for them to be like, man, that sounds great. That sounds awesome. What'd you do to this? Don't worry about it. Just love the sound. So that was that, man. And it was other moments. Johnny Lang, he was an alternative rock artist. I think he had done a few platinum records. I recorded him at Sue Tucker and them Master Mix Studios, where Prince used to go get a lot of his stuff mastered, with John Tucker, Sue Tucker, and I got a chance to track him in there, and it was awesome. Man. Like, you sitting in there and you realizing that this dude's top Billboard, and you're the lead chair engineer at 19 years old in a multi-million-dollar facility where major artists have touched these buttons and twisted these knobs, and major sound engineers that you look up to, that you're aspiring to be like, was in here working these tape machines and locking things in. And that was a super honor for that, man. It just inspired me even more to keep going, and learning to get those nerves became confidence, if you get what I'm saying, in a way.
Absolutely. So since we're on this topic, name some more artists that you've been able to work with, name some for the people.
We got, of course, Jay Holiday, of course. That was a great experience. That was awesome. I went to Noontime when Lloyd and Jay did the song with Nicki Minaj, Take It Off. I was there for that, participated in that. Benny Demus, who's Akon's DJ, he works with like Rock City. They're called Planet VI now. The great writers, Theron and all those guys, got to be around that situation and learned a lot from them. I actually did 2 tracks for Benny on a couple of his projects. Was awesome, man. Like, being around them was different. Me and Boo from Akon's brother, we had a few things going for a while. That was awesome. His sister, shout out Akon's sister too. She's a beautiful person. But just being in those vibes, Tricky Stewart around Red Zone, and when Trey Songz was coming up, and sitting there with my partner Masai, and actually watching the Dream write hit records, was more. I learned more from observing, in a way, if you get what I'm saying, being around the greats and being able just to absorb the vibe, and for them to be able to say, hey man, try this, try that. Those are the type of things that really inspired me more. Carl Thomas, I mean, it's been a ride, and it's been a wonderful one, and I look forward to more, So it's been a lot, man. I've recorded in Prince's studio. I've engineered at Paisley Park, Flight Time Studios, Edina, Minnesota, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Carlos Boyce Jr., man. Like I told you, he plays a big part in what I am and who I am, and even some of the skills and things I use today come from his catalog. I just put my spin on it, and that's where we're at with it, man. So it's just been a lot, man, over the past 25 years. Yeah.
So how do you feel technology has changed the creation of music, the creativity?
I have like 2 different. I have the good and the evil for that one. I love the flexibility of technology. I use technology all the time. The Pro Tools, the MPCX, all these different softwares and things. And for me, it cuts down on my workflow per se. It speeds me up a little bit. That's the good part. For when you know what you're doing, certain compressors and things that you want that's in the box already, 1176s, your LA2As. I could just pop them up. I don't have to patch them. I don't have to walk across the room and do this. That's beautiful when you know what's going on. The thing that kind of is the bad is it's so readily accessible. It's like there was a certain point where music wasn't priced to the regular person. And I'm not saying that's bad, but it's like it becomes readily available and it takes away the mystique of the art. You know what I'm saying? So I think if there was more education in music, or people understood sonic quality and dynamics and learned the art of recording and making music, I think technology will be even way better than it is. But I just think sometimes it's just too readily available. It's made to seem too easy. So we don't have the quality of music that we used to. Artists are doing 20, 30 songs in a clip, but nobody's mixing it. Nobody's mastering it. You just, okay, let me throw in a limiter on the master fader and we'll call it a day. It's loud. We're good. So I think it's a good and bad thing. It's great that technology has come this far. It's great that it's compact. It's great that I can travel from state to state and get quality recordings in hotel rooms and wherever I'm at That's great. But the hard side is everybody has access to it, and not everybody's putting in the time to make the art beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about making a great song, but also keeping the quality great. So
Right,
that's a part of it.
right,
I love the fact that technology have leveled the playing field, but in the same token,
right,
it makes it very naive to a lot of people to think that they can just walk up and do what you do when you have
right,
studied, you got time in, you got years in. Oh, I just push this button and I can sound like so and so. I just hit this plug in and I'll sound like so and so. I'll put this plug in or
right,
buy this software and I'm just as good as the next guy, which is very naive of
right,
people to think that they are going to have that kind of level of quality and success when you really have it's like trying to build a house with no expertise, no learning, no mentors. So that's
right,
the downside of it. But the good side is everyone can do it. That's the good side. But
right, right.
don't be
I
naive that
think,
they're going to
I
be
think,
you.
yeah, I think that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful, and that's one of the reasons I'm starting up a Pro Tools certificate program. I'll be a Pro Tools teacher, so that people
Dope.
that really do have some kind of uh passion, we can nurture the passion. You know what I'm saying? And I believe over my years, I've seen a lot of people that have been very successful with with the naive kind of attitude, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it doesn't last very long. You make a wave and then it crashes really fast. You know what I mean? So it it goes back to that dedication and that skill. You have to get that skill behind it. And I don't mind the novice that messes around and does what they do. I don't mind the people that don't want to work for it because, like you said, guys like me and you, we're going to stay in the race because we have a skill set that is steadily growing, that is steadily building, and we're going to outwork all these phases that we go through. Like we've seen the phases, the phases that the industry goes through and things, and we're still here and we're still at a high level and we're still sought after by these artists and these these movie companies and TV commercial people. We're still here because our sound is standing and will be here for a long time after.
Well, we took the time to learn what it is we're doing. We took the time to be mentored, and others that came before us. We paid respect to other creatives, and also we embraced the knowledge and expertise that was afforded to us. And not many are doing that today. But so I do feel like that's a very important element that's missing in today's music.
Right.
That quality. So tell us
Right.
some tools that you have in your tool shed.
Man, I got I got a nice little bunch of little gadgets, man. I really like. My newest thing that I've really been messing with that I really like is the Slate Audio, the VSX headphones with the studio modeling, where you can put it in different rooms in the cars and things like that. I've been messing with those really heavy, especially being on the road so much. Those are dope. My MPC-X is man, that is my baby. Like I can't do nothing without her. Like she is the centerpiece of my production. Like she is my angel. Like I sit there and wipe the screen all careful. It's all clean and pristine. And my newest baby that I'm really loving is the Key 37 by Kai. Like I said, once again, being on the road is small, but it has everything my ex has, and then it has the keys on there where I don't have to worry about plugging in a MIDI controller, things of that nature. Of course, my plug-in game is crazy. I got the whole Universal Audio suite. The Waves plugins are awesome. I use those a lot. But I found this one. It's called the God Particle. That's really one I've been using a lot. It's like an AI mastering tool that you plug in on your master fader. Oh my God. It is beautiful. Like when you really get in there and start tweaking some stuff and you get it set the way you want to, it's money. It's like money every time. So those are the type of things like that I've really been into. I couldn't live without my UAX8, my Apollo. I could not live without her. She just became, I don't know. NPC got kind of jealous when I brought her in the studio. Like, hold on, why you paying her so much time? You know what I'm saying? Why you over there so much? You know what I mean? But
Don't
it's
forget
like
about
those.
me.
Yeah, don't forget about me. You know what I'm saying? I'm diving into the back. You know the mixer they got on there, setting up plugins and templates, and NPC over there looking at me like, "Hey man, you gonna make a beat today, or you just gonna stay over there mixing all day?" But yeah, those are some of my favorite tools, man, that I really use a lot. And really, like I say, man, it's not the gear, it's the ear. So my favorite tool is my ear, my instinct, my feeling. Because if I feel it, that's it. It could be two instruments in a record and one lead over it. If it feels like it's moving, then it's moving, and I ain't gonna shake the boat. I'm gonna let the spirit speak for itself. So the ear, the soul, the feel, that's really my tool that I pay attention the most to.
You can't go wrong with that. That's the main ingredient right there. This is a good place for us to take a little
Right.
short break. We're going to take a little short break, and we'll be right after this. When we come back, it's NAM this week, and so he's talking technology, so that's a good place to break. We're going to come back and discuss NAM and what you feel about that and get some insight. So stay with us. Keep it locked right here on Sonix TV1, your new home for entertainment. It's NAM this week. That's right, it's NAM. So we're gonna dive into that shortly with our guest, because there's so much to unwrap and unravel. It's just amazing. The technology and how it plays a part in what we do. So we're here with our one and only guest today, Motrakx. That's right, the one and only Motrakx. He's rocking with us today, ladies and gentlemen. So he's been sharing his insight and sharing his incredible story of, production, music, and how we got started. So NAM, tell us about your first trip to NAM. Most people don't know much about NAM. So can you describe NAM and your first trip, what it was like, and what, your thoughts on NAM?
It's a statement. Overwhelmingly amazing. It's a statement. It's just like it's a geek and a nerd's nirvana like myself. Like, you don't even know where to begin, what booth to start with, who to talk. I swear I just stood there and just took it in for like a whole 30 minutes. I probably looked dumb as hell because I'm just standing there looking around like in awe with the wide eyes, like a kid on Christmas. It's like you don't know which toy to play with first, and it's amazing. Like, you think before NAM, you think, okay, all this stuff is dope. It can't get no better than this. This is it. Then you go to NAM, it's like, yo, I want all of it. Like, yo, I need a deal for about $2 billion so I can buy all this stuff.
Buy everything in the store.
Buy everything.
Even if you don't use it.
Right. I just want to play with it. Like, I want to figure it out. Like, and the people, like, just the regular patrons of NAM are so dope because they're geeking out just like you. So it's a lot of sound, like-minded individuals in that room. And you're learning, you think you know something, like, I'm a scientist of music. So I know this, and then that person is above you, and then that person, but we're all the same though. But you're just learning on different levels because everybody's looking at things in a different way. So it's an amazing experience. And I would tell anybody to at least go once. If you're really into production and anything tech, even just tech heads, just go. Like, the technology itself is amazing, and you'll be so surprised at what's coming out that's light years ahead of what you thought was cutting edge. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing, man. It's amazing, beautiful.
To me, like, NAM is like the ultimate candy store for musicians, producers, engineers, artists. It's like the ultimate. Like, if you ever been to like Guitar Center, it's like Guitar Center like on steroids. It's like 1,000 times bigger, a million times bigger than Guitar Center. Every guitar known to man, and then the beautiful thing of the technology that has just come out. You get to actually embrace it, use the equipment, try it out, and learn what that equipment does, what it sounds like. Just technology, how it advances from year to year is amazing. How much things just advance from year to year. So just getting there, and then just like you said, you talk to other like-minded individuals and other creatives and artists and manufacturers. So shout out to all the manufacturers, the creators of the gear that we use. Apple, Microsoft, Roland, Korg,
everybody, Universal Audio,
Fender, Waves,
Kai, I mean,
Avid, Pro Tools, Slate Digital.
Come on, man. Like, I mean, warm audio. I'm digging into that now. I want that warm audio compressor, man, because the price point is dope, and from all the reviews, I think Leslie Breathwaite, he's actually gonna show it at NAM this year. That's one of my favorite engineers, Leslie. Shout out Leslie, man. He's actually gonna show it off because Warm is picking up steam now, and that's the reason I wanted to go this year. Unfortunately, I couldn't go, but man, I want to really see that Warm audio display and hear it, in person that like that.
Well,
You know what I
because you
mean?
mentioned that, I'm going to go check it out.
Yes, please. Please be my
Another,
eyes and ears on that one.
oh, for sure. You just text me what you want me to check out, and I'll let you know what I think about it.
Right.
Last year, I was turned on to Crane Audio. And if you're not familiar with Crane Audio, it's amazing. The warmth, the depth, the analog, input. So mic pre's and everything is pristine. So same thing, like, you turn on to these new equipment, gear and equipment. Every year somebody new is coming out and developing some amazing equipment, and technology is completely shaping that world. And we're able to actually listen and audition equipment and learn so that we can implement this technology in our own music, man. So that's a great thing. So
And
go ahead, my bad.
yeah, that. Now I'm just saying that for me, I'm a hands-on person. So like I like the feel of stuff. Like Carlos been putting me onto this thing, the Rolly, and I want to see how that feels in real life, because I've been reading the past like 6 months. He's like, man, check it out. Did you read this? Did you send me all these articles? And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I think it's going to revolutionize production in a way, but the look of it, the way it looks like skin, like it's weird looking, but I want to actually like get my fingers on it and see what is working with.
I had the chance to actually play it. Yeah, the Rolly.
You killing me.
I actually had the chance to use the Rolly when it first came out. It was actually debuted at NAMM, so yeah, I had the chance to. Yeah. It takes some getting used to.
Was it dope though?
It's dope, but it takes some getting used to. Like when you come up with something so out of the box, you got to have a learning curve. You got to have a learning curve of the feel, how it integrates with the software. So it is a learning curve. It wasn't just get up and roll and rock and make it happen.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's dope though. You're gonna want to check it out.
Yeah, I'm about to get on that, man. See, this is where all my money goes, man. I don't buy Jordans. I don't buy nothing. American Musical, Guitar Center, Sweetwater, Sounds. They got all my money, man. I don't even care. Take it all.
When you start down this road, it's a lifetime of investing.
For real.
It's a lifetime, So tell us about how you utilize technology in its present form versus how you use technology in your past form.
Technology in the present form I've been using, I gotta say it's the speed. It's cut the time down. I've maintained the quality, but instead of it taking me, 3-4 hours to do something, now it's condensed down to maybe an hour. But the same effect, because then, if you want to talk about then, that was tape machines for me. So you had to get in, you had to calibrate, if you had a fresh piece of tape, you had to print your black and all that and SMPTE and blah, 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 blah. It'd take you 40 minutes to get the tape up, or 20 minutes, whatever, clean the machine, they didn't clean the head. So now it's like, okay, let me pop open, the MPC software, get on there, bam, bam, bam. Let me drop that. Track it out on Pro Tools. I pretty much have my set to where I'm starting with my drums and my melodies and my percussion. So, I mean, really, it's the speed of the deal. I'm not as fast as some of these young kids, man. They just be like, they'll crank out 59 beats in 2 hours, like they on Adderall or something. It really has cut down. It's given me a lot of power in a short amount of time of workflow, if you get what I'm saying. So the power's still there, especially when you invest into the right thing, so it's really condensed it, and I really like it. So I use it all day long, and I could do a lot more, basically, you know what I mean? As opposed to then, I don't have to patch. I don't have to, you take the 8 outs from the NPC and play them in, and then the MIDI clock gets toe up, and you got to go to your MIDI patch bay. And I meant to put the ASXR on there, but I messed around and put the Phantom on there. And it's like, so it's just very, very, very streamlined workflow now. And I love that. I love that, man. Really do.
Shout out to the chat room. Everybody's going crazy in the chat room. You're getting a lot of love, so we want to say thank you.
What up?
So thank you to the chat room. We've been getting a lot of love. So your opinion, analog versus digital.
Marry 'em. Marry 'em. I would say I love analog, the natural one. I love the flexibility of analog. I'm actually looking to get a tape machine. Shout out Carlos again, one of the alumni from our school. He's one of the leading restorers of tape machines in the country, and I want to get a restored tape machine just to even like slam my drums to and bring them back into Pro Tools and get that natural tape compression. So I say marry them. If you can marry them, analog is a lot more pricey when you're doing it, that the right way. I don't want to say the right way. It's not a right or wrong way. But when you're doing it for a high-end kind of feel, analog is very expensive. So you have to know your stuff and choose wisely, unless you just got a super budget. You know what I'm saying? You can just ball out, But I would say marry them, man. They got to get married to me. That's why I'm interested in the warm audio stuff, because the price point is good. And from what they're advertising, it seems like it's a great investment to marry those worlds, especially coming in on my mic. I like to have that, analog compression and things like that, just to warm it up and be able to kind of tighten up that sound coming into the box, so it's not as cold.
Absolutely. I believe the same thing. You want to keep that depth, the warmth, and the bigness of the recording, So definitely when you're recording vocals, you're recording guitars, you want to warm it up and have that. So it's fat when you record it in that digital domain. It's not thinned out, So also want to shout out the chat room. Decatur Big says, what's up? R&B Reggie.
Yo, what up?
Reggae Eddie D saying what's up. Jason Owens saying what's up. Who else we got? Skeptical. Everybody saying what's up. So I want to make sure.
Yeah, shout out. Much love.
Stace, John Sandifo.
That's my partner right there, man. That's Revolver Music. That's the distribution company that we run through. He's the head of that. We service 1,500 online stores. We try to keep everything kind of as independent as possible, to make a wave. But yeah, that's my brother.
Well, dope. That leads us to our next question. How does technology influence the distribution of music, and where do you see that's going?
Well, in the essence, I like the digital platform, but I don't like the unfair pay of streaming revenue. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to like back in the day when we used to post up at the gas station, $5-10 a CD. You bump off 100, 200. You like, oh yeah,
you made you some money. You made you some money.
Yeah. We getting revenue. So I like what they're doing now with the direct to consumer stuff, and I like the fact that vinyl's coming back. I like the fact that the actual CDs. I think it's in Japan, or I forgot where it was, but they actually have CD shops still, and they're taking American music and paying royalties on that. But I like the idea of digital, that I could sit here, I can create my album, bam, you got it on Spotify, iTunes. I love it. For an independent label production company like myself, I love it for low overhead. It's not like back in the day when I used to have to go to disc makers and I'm spending $5,000 to $10,000 of pressing on a CD, and then I'm spending another $2,000 to $3,000 on graphic design. You know what I'm saying? And travel and burning up gas. But the bottom line was better in a way, even after expenses, if you did it right. You know what I'm saying? You got 2,000 CDs, you sell them at 10 a wop, that's 20. You spent 8 for the whole operation. You left with 12,000 to reinvest, or however you want to do it. Now I have to put a record out. I have to spend marketing dollars. Let's say I spend $5,000 in marketing for my record, for Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, such and such, etc., YouTube. I have to get 8 billion streams for me to see some kind of split in my profit. That's the only part. So once again, I say marry it, man. Still do your Spotify, do your Apple, but also have direct to consumer, have that place where they can go buy that vinyl, those CDs, those T-shirts, those tangible goods that are still valuable to this day. So I like Lil Russell, the way he does it. You know, he has all this stuff. Yeah, you can listen to it iTunes, blah, blah, blah. But if you want the full experience, you go to his site, you buy that album, you know, and it's special to you. You know, you have a tangible good. So I think this is the era of marrying the analog, the digital distribution with the physical distribution. It has to come back around. It's that time
It's facts.
because
So
artists want to get paid.
this is definitely true. I look at it the same way. You got to marry it. You got to have both sides of the fence because you can't have one without the other. And you need, you know, you need one. You need both. You need all of it in order to reach the amount of mass of people that you need to reach. You know, another
Right.
thing you can look at is the custom thumb drives. Take a look at that. You know, where you could actually
Yeah.
do the custom drive. You could actually put the artwork on the custom drive and then preload it with everything they need. And then it becomes a keepsake. So that's something else you could look into. The custom
Yeah.
thumb drives. Those are hard, man.
Man.
People really
My
support
man,
those.
my man Spody in Las Vegas. He did. I got one from him 2 years ago, and I thought that was amazing. Like his whole, it just said you had his design on there. You popped it in the car wherever you at. The picture comes up. He had like a couple music videos on there. Shout out Spody, man. He was ahead of his time with that one, bro.
Yeah.
Because that was dope. That was fly.
Yeah,
I like that. I'm gonna run with that.
Yeah. I started looking into that in 2015 or 16, and so that's a
Yeah.
game changer because a lot of cats
Right.
don't have hard drives. They don't even have CD players anymore. But so they do have that USB
Right.
connector where they could just plug up that custom USB drive, and you off to the races. So that's a
Rock
wink
out,
wink
yeah.
right there. You can rock with that. So
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
next
yeah.
for Motrakx? What's next for you, my brother?
Man, what's next? Well, I'm starting a new production company called Nocturnus Productions. I did have a company, Lost Star Productions. We made a lot of noise, man. We did a lot of things and had some great times, but now it's like a new start, you know. And so I'm doing a whole new rollout with Nocturnus Productions. Got the studio in Las Vegas right now, doing the grand open in February 1st and 2nd.
Make
So
sure I
that's
get
gonna
that
be awesome.
invite. Make sure I
Oh
get
yeah,
that invite.
you know you
I
getting
want
it.
to
You
come
know you
through.
getting
I
it,
want to
brother.
come through.
You know you getting
Show
it,
support,
man.
man.
So yeah, so just build it and like I'm looking more toward the sync licensing lane right now. I always say I'm gonna do it, but I never like fully get into it. So I'm more focused on that this year. I got a lot of independent artists I'm working with. I got two Christian guys. Kenny Porter goes by Young Preach. We got some stuff out now. He's doing really well. I have Troy Preach, my little brother. He's making beats and making some music. He's doing really well, man. He just got featured on a couple exclusive sites. I work with this comedian that I really like. She's in Chicago. Susie Q, man, she is so funny. Susie Q Chicago. You can look her up everywhere. Funny as hell. So I'm into more building those type of relationships, man, and cultivating the creativity because I'm just more passion driven at this point. You know, like I tell people, if you're not passionate about your art, if you're not passionate about music, you know, you might want to see that door because if you think it's about the Bentleys and the jewelry and the champagne, you might be in the wrong profession. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm more focused on the art and the passion and letting that drive the focus of where, you know, my next steps go, you know, as opposed to just trying to force it and look for this deal and the right deal will find you if you put in the proper work and you present your stuff in the right way. So that's where I'm at with it. A lot of independent talent, man. I'm working with Khalil Gibran, Side Street Kid, you know, those guys. Shout out my man Tech Money from the Real World. You know, a lot of people just working, and I'm proud to be a part of it. You know, I'm probably missing some people, but it's a lot more coming. Working on my own projects. I got an instrumental coming out called Angels and Demons. It's going to highlight a lot of historical angels, demons, have a little video skits and teaching you about them and really just exploring different creative avenues, man, even within my own production. So you'll see a lot more concept albums coming from me this year. So yeah, just working on that level, man. Just keeping it going,
Well,
keeping the art alive, man.
that's what it is. So we have one final question from Skeptical, and also I want to get your last final parting words for our audience. The question was, what genre of artists do you most like to work with?
Anyone. I've done Swedish death metal. I've done traditional death metal. I've recorded symphony orchestras. I've done rock. I've done alternative. I've done a bluegrass tribute band that was doing it for the Grateful Dead. Rap. It don't matter. It could be Cambodian goat music for all I care. And I'm on it. I'm on it.
So
I'm
no
producing
favorites
it. I'm
at all.
recording
Just
it. No, I just love music. I love music, and good music, preferably. But really, if you're expressing yourself and you believe enough, then I believe in you, and we'll get it to where it needs to be, to where it's great.
and your
So
last final
anything.
parting words for our viewers today.
My parting words for everybody is find your peace, find yourself, find your energy. Whatever it is in life, I don't care if you want to be the best knitter in the world. I don't care if you want to sell gadgets on the side of the road. I don't care if you're in the music. I don't care if you're an actor. I don't care. Whatever you're doing, find your passion, find your center, block out the noise, and never stop going. As long as you're breathing, as long as you're here, you should be rejoicing in that and doing something every day to live out your dream. And if you find yourself even in a rut, you go within yourself, you find your spiritual self and get that fire back and put yourself around the right people that have that same energy that you do. So, it's going to be a lot of lonely nights. It's going to be a lot of times everybody, oh man, let's go out and do this. No, stop it. Discipline yourself. Get a regimen about yourself. Hold yourself accountable. Because if you look for accountability outside yourself, you're not going to find it 9 times out of 10. So stay disciplined, stay focused, stay full of love, find your peace, and be kind to people, and you'll see how far you can go in this world.
Well, amen to that. And thank you, my brother. I greatly appreciate that message, and I appreciate you being with us today and sharing your amazing, incredible story. I'm so grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, Mauryce, Motrakx Owens. Thank you, my
Peace
brother.
and love to everybody.
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to reach out to Motrakx, you can find him on his social media at his social media handles, Motrakx at MOTRAKX. That's right, at Motrakx. You can find him all over social media. And also, if you want to find out more about my artistry and what I've been up to, you can check me out on my website, sonixmusic.net, sonixmusic.net. Also, if you want to check out my store, you can find out, what the t-shirts that I have on made by Joe Lou Enterprises, sonixmusic.net /store. You can find that. And also, if you hit the QR code, it'll take you to all my links and what I have going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate you being with us today. It was amazing today. So if you like what you've seen, you like what you've heard, hit that like button, subscribe, yes, down below. Also, you get the descriptions and notifications down below of when we're going live. And so please hit that subscribe button and share the information with different people. Also, if you want to be on the show, we have a contact information down below and how you can get in touch with us down below. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for that. And that's our show. We greatly appreciate you being here. That's our show. Thank you for everyone for joining us today on Sonix TV1, where you are number one and our guests are stars among stars. I greatly appreciate you spending your time with us today, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Be uplifted, be inspired, be entertained. Be inspired, be uplifted, be entertained. I'm your host, Sonix, and I'll see you next time right here on Sonix TV1. God bless.